have to come. Yeah, that's it. Make sure that the mic's good. Oh no. Okay, looks like we're live. Rahubat, Moisa, Rahubat.
Rahubat, Rahubat.
Hope everyone's doing good. Once again, it's another Ask Us Anything live.
Share, share, share.
Like. Subscribe. Let everyone know we're live. Whilst we're doing that, you know what it's about. It's about love and unity, about freeing Partner Babyanun, the master teacher,
Right.
Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. So, let's make sure. Make our dreams come true, yeah. Make our dreams come true.
Freedom for the master. Master teacher.
Freedom for the master. Let's see who's on. Like we have Prince Yanu Rahubat, Pansy Rahubat Moisa. I hope you can hear us. Let's make sure both of us are close to the mic.
Give us a 9 if you can hear us, or a 6 if you can't.
Yep, and you know by now you gotta tell us where you are, your city, where you're chiming from. Coco Brown in the house, Rahubat. Check Chaser, Rahubat. Rahubat, crowd favorite media. The Rule Road 369, Rahubat. Solar Ray, Rahubat.
Freedom for the master.
Jen, Rahubat, 999. We're getting good. Yeah, nice, 9.
Freedom for the master.
Alabama, Montgomery, Rahubat. That's what we're talking about. Worldwide. Johnston, Jonestown, Rahubat. Dallas, Texas in the house, Rahubat.
Master teacher.
George Beaton, 9 Florida, George, yeah. Hiru Ra, Rahubat, Musa, Rahubat. Paula, Kumisu, Akwabantu, Rahubat. Oh, UK, Peterborough. That's our hometown, Rahubat. Wow, we got someone calling already. All right, we're gonna have to cut that short. So let's see what's going on. Rahubat, call out. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question?
Rahubat.
Rahubat.
What's going on, man?
All good, all
yeah, I got
good.
a question for you.
Mhm.
This is Jamal from Atlanta.
Hi, Jamel. Mhm.
Hey, I'm pretty much calling because I wanted to know how do y'all build the pyramids? Like, I remember watching a documentary and
Mhm.
it said that you guys built a pyramid in Georgia.
Oh, those
So I was
pyramids.
wondering.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to, because you know we built the original ones too, right? So I was just trying to make sure that we're talking about the right ones. But yeah,
Yeah. So I was curious on how you made the pyramids and like especially the top. Like that's
yeah. I mean, you know what? It's amazing because when people saw those pyramids, you know, the haters, they were like, oh, they're just some small pyramids. But as you know, it's not easy to be able to do that. And to be honest, it was through the guidance of the Parnatharu, the master teacher Parna Babyanun, broke down how they assisted the brothers and you know the people that were building the pyramids. Even the spot they actually he had a vision and they took him there and he saw the pyramid as in the vision and everything, with people doing their muguraj and everything. And they said, yep, that's the spot right there.
Yeah.
And as time went on, he started to explain that we were near Eagle Mound, which is obviously our land with our ancestors in Georgia. And then those pyramids started to line up with the Orion belt as they were being built. And yeah, but to answer your question, it was through guidance, the same way as the original pyramids in Giza were built by our ancestors and the extraterrestrials who had the supreme mathematics, and why many till this day Europeans cannot figure out or work out how it was done, because it was supreme mathematics, and it was the same way that the ancestors assisted those of us who will be working on Tamaray to build them. Because when you start going into the mathematics in terms of how, when you look at a triangle, and I did a video with a brother, a mathematician, the other day, who went into it, and he explained, about, when you look at how a pyramid is in terms of from the 45-degree angle going up, no matter how far you go, it doesn't change the structure. And this is how it was lining up. And obviously, there's a lot of secrets, because in ancient Egypt, we had the mystery schools where secrets were secreted, or sacred information was only passed down to those who were worthy from mouth to ear. And that's pretty much still how it's done today.
Yeah.
So although we put out a lot of information by the master teacher, Pana Babyanun, he has information that it's only for those who really, truly are worthy and come in and come close and be able to sup with him and go through the various orders that we have, like the ancient Egyptian order, the brotherhood, there are many orders within our culture for those who are really, just like in ancient times, those masters that were studying under the great Tahuti. It's the same today. All right, I hope that helps.
Okay. Appreciate you.
Anytime. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. Thank you for your call, and we'll speak to you again soon. Wadu. Okay, right. Let's see what the chat is saying. Let me give you this phone, and then I can look on the other one. Okay. Wow, the weather's getting good in England right now, so we hope it lasts, because with England we have all the weathers in one day. So
2 weeks of sunshine, if that.
Yeah. Okay. Here you go. You can have that one, and I'll have this one. Remember, you can call in live. Let everyone know. We got a call coming in. As I said that. Okay, here we go. Rahu back.
I'm just saying, pull the mic closer.
Okay. No problem. How's that? Okay.
Cool.
So our mod making sure we're live and direct, coming loud and clear. All right. So let's get back to the chat. All right. So the first question for today. Barbados in the house as well. Rahubat. Rahubat Sakem, Rahubat Asaru. Sorry if I butchered your names. It's okay. All good. The intentions is what matters. You guys did amazing on the documentary. It deserves 2 billion views. I've shared to all my friends. Yeah, we just literally scratched the surface.
Yeah. You know there's going to be a... Anyway.
Go on, no, talk. There's always love and the opposite.
You know there's going to be a part 2 coming up. Well, not for now, but yeah.
Okay.
The way he dropped it, part 2. But yeah, you're going to have...
Sola says the documentary was phenomenal. Well put together. Okay, cool. Okay. Is it Themba, if I'm pronouncing your name properly? The Wu-Sabat documentary is epic. Okay. Dr. Z York was radical teacher. He didn't nurse feelings. He wasn't radical, because you know that they play on words.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a call coming in. Hold the thought. We're going to answer that. Greetings, Rahubat. Who's calling? And where you calling from? What's your question, please?
It's T from the UK.
Hey T, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, how's it going there still?
Love that.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
Right about there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right. First question is some of the videos. How come I'm seeing that some of the brothers have turned green and blue and stuff like that on the TV? Is it my TV or is it something that is like that?
I didn't know you was watching YouTube on TV, but no, we can't tell you the reason right now. You know, like we might yeah we know about it. If we tell you, we might have to take you out. So we can't tell you. everything is done, yeah, intentionally for a purpose. Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, well, we're aware about it. We're aware. We know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right there. And then the next question is, I need some more parteracks.
Yeah. Okay. What's stopping you?
Basically, like there's not the ones that I need are not available.
Okay. Let us know which one. Remember, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get this mic so that we make sure everything is. Remember that we have other outlets around the world as well. So if you can't get it with us,
yeah, go on to unitedsabian.com.
yeah, worldwide.com.
Okay, so you can go on that website and then
Yeah.
have different ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I mean, what we do is obviously, if you are local, it's better for you to come locally because shipping costs and all of that. But if you can't get it locally, you may have to go to the US worldwide site and or even other bookstores.
The majority, like if you guys run out, would that one most likely have all the parteracks, or would I just have some of them?
They may have some that we don't have, and we may have some that they don't have, but they're more than likely gonna have, more.
The majority, more.
Yeah.
More. Right then, that sounds cool. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna get excited yet. I'll leave it. I'll speak to you another time about it, brother. It's cool.
Okay. I know you were trying to reach me today as well, but yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah. It's no props though.
Yeah.
That issue now, I will talk to you again about on a separate issue. I'll probably call you tomorrow. Or call me when you're free, and then I'll talk to you about that one.
No problem.
And then I just thought of something else. But that's really exciting news, but I don't want to spoil it yet, so I'll just leave that part as well.
You got exciting news.
You're just teasing people.
Yeah, don't be teasing us. Share the news.
Unless it's personal.
But now, man, it's not personal. It's for everyone, brother. But I don't want to spoil it yet.
Okay.
All right.
When it feels like it's supposed to come out, it will just come, and you're like, what?
Okay.
Like,
All right. Season it well then.
T, tell me later on after the show, yeah? Just tell me. No way, man.
All right, no problem. Antakati Arafu. Wadu. Okay, right. Let's get back to the questions. Yeah, so we were saying about about the master teacher was just telling the truth, and the thing is, it was out of love and care, but obviously, people were stuck in ways that they've been taught all their life. And for some of them, it was a bit of a hard pill to swallow that, someone was coming to set the record straight. But yeah, you're right. He didn't leave any stone unturned. Yeah. And that's what, he was just that voice, that three tones in one, so powerful. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Isaac H. Rahubat checking in from VTA County, California in the house. Great. Twambo Terry. We've got another call already. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm just adding them now.
Rahubat, greetings. Who's calling? Where you chime in from, and what's your question, please?
Yes, good day. Rahubat to you, gentlemen, and Ashok to you all.
Rahubat.
I'm calling from Trinidad and Tobago.
Ashok.
Yes, I'm calling from Trinidad once again. Today, my question is this. It's in 4 parts, very short.
Okay.
What is the third eye? Where is it? How to use it? And how can we protect it?
I forgot. I didn't hear the first
Oh,
part.
he's asking, what's the third eye?
Okay.
Where is it, and how can you use it? Right. So,
Yes.
your third eye is what many people refer to as the pineal gland, right? And they show you the picture of it with, even in like the Jewishism, they have that little box that they put on their head.
Yeah.
That's to signify what the third eye is. In Islam, they call it the evil eye. And in like, you know, Hinduism, Buddhism, you see people have that dot on their forehead that signifies that. It's in the thalamus. So you have glands that are, you know, like we say pineal gland,
Thyros,
yeah,
pituitary.
yeah. So that's where it is. This is where when you see that picture where they show you the eye of Horus, if you look in the middle of there, it's like a small little dot. It's in there, but basically that's where it is, and you activate it by the knowledge that you have and how you utilize that knowledge. So your seats, like we were just saying, like the heart seat, for example, which ties into, and then you got your solar plexus. All of these seats are all together work in harmony. As you turn them on or as you activate them, it then ignites the pineal gland and then it opens you up. But the thing is, there are many things that are done to stop you from opening it up. So the food you eat, things like the fluoride, there are many things that are done to that's what it does. It calcifies it. You see, so they put that in the waters and things like that. And so when you start to get the correct right knowledge, it leads you to right wisdom, and then that will lead you to right understanding. So you start to reason and start to apply Wu-Sabat, which will then help you to raise your vibration, because everything is energy ultimately, and that's how you then connect to your overseers or the oversoul, which is really beings that are your parents and ancestors that are vibrating on higher dimensions and realms, who then send us what we call outformation, which comes from outside and then becomes information. But the technology makes the word information into information. So you're being kept in form, like in line, in check. So literally it's about coming out and connecting with the higher vibrations, 9 ether vibrations of your 9 ether ancestors. Does that help?
Yes, it helps a lot. You have answered all 4 points. I have looked at Dr. Malachi Ziyok's documentary. It was excellent. It was also sad when I saw certain parts of it as well. It touched me. Please continue your work, gentlemen. This is excellent. I have not gotten in touch with my home Wu-Sabat friends as yet. I'm still looking for them on Facebook. I can't find them. If you all can help me, please get in touch with the Trinidad and Tobago Wu-Sabat members. That would be a great favor indeed. I will appreciate love.
Tour. The best thing, if you're in the Telegram group,
I was going to say.
are you in our Telegram group?
No, at this time, Telegram is not accepting my cell phone number for whatever technical reason. So I'm not in the Telegram group. I'm still trying to find a way to reach out to my brethren and sisters of Wu-Sabat here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, if anyone else that you know has a Telegram app on their phone, we can join. They can join the Telegram group, and then you can get information that way. Because we just ask in the group, but we will also help you to do that connection.
Please, and that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I will do it.
Okay,
I will do it.
But to answer the question about how it made you feel, we can use that energy in a positive way.
That's right.
Because it's like, you know, let your haters become your motivators, so that you know, this is why we do it, so that people need to know this injustice. We want the world to know about this situation and to help. Because when people say you all, it's like they're detaching themselves, like it's all our problems.
That's right.
Because he's here for us, and he's here for humanity, and you know, we need to do everything we can to help bring him home.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Malachi Ziyok, I did not know he was so talented in his ways. Multifaceted.
Right.
He's grand. He is mean, I looked at a lot of the American rap stars for some years,
Mm.
and I did not even had a clue that he was like the original
Instrumental.
person that.
Yeah.
Yes, he was very instrumental in the upcoming of this hip hop arena and all of this.
That's right.
And I was like, wow!
Yeah, that's
It
how.
blew my mind. It blew my mind, sir.
Yeah,
Continue your good work. Really, really. Um,
it's all down to him.
I will do my best
Yeah.
in reading more Wu-Sabat, trying to follow the ways of Wu-Sabat. I'm trying to get my wife involved in it. I'm trying to make
Get the
my
whole
boys
family.
understand.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to do that.
But you, like you say, you have to get yourself in order because you're the example
Yes.
that they will like ultimately relate to. So great. Yeah.
One more question, please.
Sure.
One more question, please.
Mhm.
Giant trees around the world of the size of mountains. Who cut them down?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
The giant trees the size of mountains.
Giant
Who
trees of
cut
the
them?
world.
Okay, yeah.
Those huge tree stumps. Who cut those things down?
I mean, they have
Of such a magnitude.
they have technology that will help with that, but that's a very very good question. But you know, you can like actually use they got like technology now where it can actually direct you kind of know like the way you cut it which way is going to fall, but cutting trees is actually a very skillful thing because you know it can actually be harmful if you do it in the wrong way. But I guess we can look into that a little bit more
Lumberjacking.
yeah, to find out. But that's a great question.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I will call next time. I have more questions written down. I will talk to you all again.
All right, no problem.
To you guys.
I sure.
All right.
Tau, Wadu. Yeah, I mean, what the brother is saying, that you get people that will say, how comes I didn't know about Dr. Yor and I've just heard about him? And it's because a lot of the people in the mainstream, they don't give him his due respect.
That's right.
And a lot of them will talk and use his information, but don't say where the source of that information is coming from. And when you start to go in, like you said, the music industry, you know what I mean, whatever angle you can look at, he has a major influence in it. And that's why you hear me say, and many of us say, there's no one dead or alive that has done greater works. And we say that because it's a natural fact, because we will say, okay, name the person, what have they done, how has that impacted on humanity, on us, and on us specifically as a people? How has that helped us, united us, etc., etc.? So, yeah, we hope that people that are coming across Wu-Sabat for the first time, you must do your due diligence, you must do your research, because you are ultimately responsible for your soul and your journey. But you will find nowhere else that you will get the pristine truth broken down to you in the way that the master teacher, Parnabab Yanun, does, which is why he's called a master teacher.
And he's always said that do your own research, check it out for yourself. That way it's not, Malaka says it's about doing your own research so you can confirm for yourself.
We have another caller. Rahubat.
Rahubat.
Rahubat. Not bad. How are you? We're good. We're doing our best. Thank you. Where are you calling from? What's your name? What's your question, please?
Jose Otep.
Oh, Jose. Rahubat. How are you doing today?
Good. Today I have a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, but before I go to the questions, by the way, the audio needs to be worked on. Huh?
What, this audio here?
Not on the call, but actually on the live stream, especially when, or you try to direct the speaker of the phone directly to the microphone.
Yeah.
Because we barely roughly hear it, even on maximum volume here. It's difficult. And to make a comment on that, so far, the best setup that you ever had on the audio was the one on which one of you had the microphone and the phone had its own independent microphone.
Right, got you. Yeah, I got you. We're gonna get it sorted out. You know, we're currently even trying to get a studio together, and we're asking for your support because we want to have a studio that is state of the art, and we can do things and make it so much better in terms of the experience for you guys. So bear with us, but yeah, we're working on everything as we speak, but you know, we have a lot on our plate. So, but thanks for the feedback.
Okay, I appreciate love, and we'll make sure that we support accordingly as well.
Thank you. Tawat.
All right, let's go into the questions. Question one, I would like to know on this each one teach one conversations at home. There is a question that came up regarding the advanced technology. When Africa lost the advanced technology.
Sorry, because you kind of dropped your volume in your voice as well. So if you help us speak up a bit as well, so that we can hear you properly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, much better.
Okay, perfect. The question is, when did Africa lost the advanced technology in time, from the era on which the pyramids or the great civilization we had here, in which moment we lost the technology in time?
6,000 years ago.
Oh, precisely.
Yep. that's when Six Ether took over and ruled the shit.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and what happened? What was the process of that ownership? Because that comes with the second question, which is related with the first one. Because the second question is how the Caucasians got access to what we call quote unquote advanced technology today before us Africans, because they came with guns and engines and things that we did not have access, and that made it easy to conquer our people.
It wasn't so much the weapons. It was more of the spell, the mental spell, which caused us to have amnesia, which is to forget who and what you are, and then obviously utilizing the spell of Leviathan, which is a hypnotic spell, which has you in a kind of like a hypnotic state where you don't know who you are and like where you're from. And then of course they use technology, which was to make you think that the things you had which were not valuable, or what shall I say, what they had that were not valuable, like cigars, and then they take the gold and take the, you know, the platinum and all the riches and give you Bibles and have you worshipping their image and their likeness as being superior, or being the God that you now called on. And all you did was basically channel your energy to them. And it was done through many ways and you know, attempts, where, as you say, you had, you know, the different what they call slave trades, but obviously we know it was a kidnapping. And over time they mixed in their DNA. This is the crucial part. They mixed their DNA in us by way of, you know, the rapes and all kinds of things that they did. And that's why today many people are having conflicting genes. The genetics is where's the problem, because you may look a certain way, but the way you think or the way you act is foreign. It's looking and acting like somebody that is not you, you see. So it took generations and generations for them to actually breed what they call the new N people. You know, I'm trying not to say it because we might get flagged, but yeah, so that's where, you know, you have like, you have people that look the same but they don't behave the same. Like you hear the concept of the house and then the slave Negroes, and religion was a major part. Religion played a major part because you were told, cut off from your ancestors and told that you're going to go to hell and things like that. And the fear was beaten into, you know, our ancestors. And today you have the traumas and the, you know, through like things we talk about like epigenetics, you know, that have passed down from generation to generation. But this was by design because they were given 6,000 years.
That's right.
You know, to see if they could change or be reformed. and to see how they treated people. And I'm talking about the Adamites when I say the they. So that 6,000 years expired in the year 2000 AD. So this is why now everyone's waking up again. The spell has been removed. The master teacher came to remove 6 ether and bring about 9 ether so that, you know, we can basically be ourselves. It's time to really be yourself. You see, you know, Africa's on the rise right now, and people are waking up. People are now trying to remember and act and behave like who they are. You can't be anything else but yourself anyway. I don't know if Asaro, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, there was a point in time where we knew things, and then when they came, when the Adamites, Adamu came into effect, that's when we stopped knowing and we started believing.
Tua.
Okay, that's noted. That's noted. I appreciate love on that one.
But what is important, right? We must stop dwelling on the past. We're here, we're living, and it's all about what we do now, and that's what really matters. Because, you know, I know it's good to know our story, but at the same time, we don't want to dwell in the past because we got work to do right now.
That's right.
And the most important work is to free Partner Babyanun. So for those who want to help, you can go to the United Sabians worldwide.com, type how can I help, and the link will be there for what you can do. But go ahead with your final question.
Okay, I appreciate love on the answers. It's clear. The third one is what's happening currently in Europe. What's your take about the blackout in Europe? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard me say many times, buy your scrolls, get involved with the community, get together, because there's nothing that is happening that we have not already been informed by the master teacher.
Right.
And not everything is going to be divulged publicly. However, you hear us making statements like, get your book because YouTube might not be here all the time and things like that. It's because the grid, you know, the satellites, the things that are...
The documentary was taken down.
Yeah, that's there because there was a word that was flagged up. But yeah, these are things that you have to think about. Like, you going back to your previous questions, we've become so reliant on everyone else and thinking the way we get our food to eat, just basic necessities, food, clothing, and shelter, right? And now you add to that in modern days, travel and communication. If those basic things were taken away, look, people that live in Africa and they're used to not having electricity and light and things like that. But when we've become so dependent on modern technology and, you know, like we said, the grid or the satellites or the networks go down, then what do you do then? You rely on supermarkets for your food. So if there are no supermarkets, how are you going to eat? Is this still having a problem? We're so close to the mic. I feel like I'm literally hugging it, but we're really trying. Okay, let me do this. Is that any better? Yeah, so this is something that if you go back and read, let me give you some scrolls that the master teacher wrote. The year 2000 and what to expect. The Millennium Book. The Luciferian Conspiracy. Leviathan 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Holy tablets.
Holy tablets. Most of the books that he wrote from the 70s and till even like the year 2000 explain everything and explain what's going to happen in the future and what we are facing, you know. So we are not really surprised when we see certain things. Well, you have to remember that was just, I think that was Portugal and Spain, and but imagine that was worldwide.
True.
They're already telling you about meteors that are going to hit the planet.
Marty's just been saying that for over 30 years.
He's been saying that I can give you scrolls upon scroll where he said that. And of course, they keep saying, oh, it might not hit, it's going to miss, it's just close. But we know who's the man of the hour.
Okay.
This is why it's so important. We keep telling everybody, come close, come close.
Come together, unite.
On the Leviathan, it's clear who's the man that you're talking about. It's very clear. He's on the cover.
There you go, the man of sin.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, overstood.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And theater, awful.
Yeah,
I shook. All right. Tawat. Right, let's go to the chat. Yeah, I mean, let me see. Is there anything we can do? Because I see the meter is showing loud and clear. Like, you know, maybe it's other people's devices. All right, let's keep going to the questions. Okay, yeah. So join the official Telegram group. Pharaoh is Curtis. Surah Al-Fatiha is the first chapter of the Quran, also known as the opening, being our ancestor Ptah who created us on the potter's wheel. Can we go into the science of being seeded here? Right. Again, you know, like, even though it says that it's
that was Konum that done the potter's wheel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Even though it's saying the first chapter is actually the 96, because the Quran is not in the original order that it was revealed. And when you read the Quran by the master teacher, he puts it in the correct order. But yes, Ptah relates to a Fatiha. You can hear the phonetics. And yes, that's explaining that everything you're reading in a monotheistic religion is really grafted and taken from ancient Egypt. So there's actually a recording by the master teacher that is called All World Religions Come From Egypt. So check that out. But we've got a call coming in. Okay, so we have another caller, Rahubat. What's your name, where you're calling from, and what's your question, please?
It's me again, Karith Muir from Jamaica.
Greetings, brother.
Greetings. Okay, so this time I want to bring up a YouTube channel that I was watching. It's called The Crystal Mind Presents, or the other channel is Black Eye Presents. And it talks about a lot of extraterrestrial stuff. It talks about 5D awareness. And all those things.
Yeah.
All those things. And on one of their videos, I saw where they said that human beings will be contacted by extraterrestrials in the future. And at some point, human beings will be expanding beyond Earth. And they said human beings will even inhabit new worlds and stuff like that. We will populate new worlds. Or there will be people chosen here on Earth to populate other worlds. How true do you think this is?
It's very true. And we already populate other worlds. Our ancestors, this is what we're saying, that we come from other worlds. We come from the Orion and Sirius star constellations. And other beings come from other places, other star systems, the Pleiadians, the Octorians, the Reptilians, the Draconians. The Adamites that have been grafted are from the Octorians or from Octorus and the Pleiadians. So when you're looking at humans on the planet, they're actually descendants of extraterrestrials from other places. And some of these ancestors are coming to collect their own, because this planet has a risk of being destroyed based on what we're doing to it as humanoids, and based on meteorites and other calamities that may take place, tsunamis and floods and earthquakes and hurricanes, and these things have been going on for a long time. But of course, we're living in a day and time where you're also dealing with nuclear weapon and talks of war, which can also start a kind of a domino effect. You see, so you look at what, in fact, there's something called a brain team that the master spoke about many years ago, where they've already assembled people and taken them up. They're talking about going to Mars. You know, Mr. Tusk he's got a company, you know, that is launching rockets every minute trying to get out of here.
I think Branson as well was doing that as well, wasn't
he? Yeah. Many people are now getting involved in space travel. People even now taking flights to just go out into space and this is the beginnings of, trying to get out of it. There's a series on Netflix called Salvation.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't seen that, watch that and it will explain to you exactly what you're talking about. And of course, we have our ancestors that have attempted many times to come and take those who are already away from here. And this is by way of the vortex that opens every 10 years. And the last one was in 2023. And then before that was 2013. You see, going back to 1973. Yeah, so, 43 because of the Philadelphia experiment. Right.
Yeah.
So if you check this out, again, this was in the Man from Planet Risk book. This book is so, is so phenomenal, like in terms of what it was conveying so many years ago. But of course, there are other titles too. So, yeah, to answer your question, they're coming to pick up the 144,000. Some get picked up for food to be taken to a fridge or freezer, shall I say.
Deep freezer.
Deep freezer. So it depends on who you are, where you are. The movie The Fourth Kind showed you this, where beings were taken in Nome, Alaska in 2003. So yeah, you're right. This is something that is actual fact. And then you have Pleiadians and other people that are coming here also to take their own. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and also, so the Adamites that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Are they called Adamites because they're first group of people? Is that simply it?
No. Mm-mm. You want to answer that?
The word Adam, when you look...
6,000 years ago, in 4004 BC. And this was done by way of them taking, as we say, the Pleiadians are their fathers. And so when you say the first, it's because in the Bible, when you read the monotheistic religions of Abrahamianism, they basically tell you that Adam was the first man.
Yeah.
But when you start to read it, it's plural because it says, created he them. Male and female created he them. And it was like, let us create man in our image and our likeness. It's all plural. So they made that into being the first man, but it was more than one. It was a tribe called the Adamites, you see. So this is why when you start to probe into, well, if Adam was the first person, where did they get their wives from, and where did Cain get his wives and things like that from? You start to open the Pandora's box with the can of worms. Do you follow?
Yes, but so who exactly were the first group of people on this planet? It wasn't the Adamites, was it?
No, it was us.
Okay, us. Okay.
Us, as in what they call the Homo habilis or the Homo naledi. That's what anthropologists who study who were the first people on the planet have concluded based on the DNA and based on the findings of archaeologists, of anthropologists, and anybody that studies fossils and studies, digging up tombs in ancient Egypt and in Africa. All the tombs, the oldest fossils that have been found are all found in Africa, in Monodapa in South Africa and Uganda, and that goes to 7.1 million years even. But we even predate all of that. We predate everyone on the planet. And then the second root race becomes the Denisovan and Homo florensis, which is dealing with the Asians. And that's all of them, Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, etc. And the third one being the Caucasian, which will be the Cro-Magnon and the Neanderthal. And the Basque, which was used to get rid of, was it the Cro-Magnon? I think so, yeah.
Oh, so the Cro-Magnon, Denisovan, Neanderthals, they were all just different humanoid species.
Exactly. but they're clearly identified and classified. So when you're saying the Nasovan, that's the Asian.
Oh, and all of us developed in our own unique way.
Exactly. So we didn't all come from one person, as the Bible teaches you, because you have different. We have hair, others have hollow hair. Chinese don't have the same hair, and then others have fur because of the genetic mix with animals, the Homo canine, Homo porcine, and the Homo simian. This is all in the DNA. This is not something we're saying or making up. This is through actual scientific facts. And that's why we develop separately, and they're missing links and all of these things they talk about. Different blood types, different skin complexions, different hair types, you know, it's
we
different.
We all developed our own unique attributes as different groups of people. So
Yes.
all group of people are special in their own way, right?
Well, it depends on how you define special, but some, like the Adamites, they were designed to expire in 6,000 years, and this is why they lack melanin, or they're melanin recessive, and melanin is a very important factor in development, and so the nature of chaos and not being able to get along and be in harmony with nature and other people is because of the DNA and the animal nature that is in their makeup. So that they were designed, and their telomeres were programmed to fade away after 6,000 years. And that ended in the year 2000. And this is what you're seeing happening now, together with the things like wars and all the things that are going on the planet that are part of the removal of those beings that are causing chaos on the planet.
Yeah, the Adamites, they were used for food, sex, and was it?
You have to speak to the mic as well.
Yeah, the Adamites, they were literally created for slave, food, and
Entertainment.
Okay, so I guess, all right. So like, what I'm trying to say is that even though we are like different groups of people and stuff, I mean, we still have a big intellect, because I mean, Caucasians have their big intellect because they have things that they're good at. Black people have things that they're good at. So we all bring something to the table. That's the point I'm trying to bring across still.
Of course.
Even if you say even if you say they're meant to expire, I really don't believe that the Lord must necessarily allow it to go that way.
So you're going back into the realm of religion now. We're not saying, we have a saying, if you go to our website, that no one wins the race in racism. This is not about racism, it's about facts and actual facts and genetics and what is actually happening. And we're not saying people are bad, like in terms of, humanity, we're all supposed to get along. But the thing is that when you start to examine what's causing us not to get along and what's the reason and why, then you will realize that, and when we say Adamites, we're not saying all Caucasians, because the words are very important. Caucasians are people that come from the Caucasus Mountains, and that's a different strain, even though some of them have mixed. You have different types. You know, when you look at the 6 kings, Vikings, you're talking about different species of what you're calling Caucasians. And yes, we teach love and unity. We teach harmony. So we don't subscribe to like hate or racism of anybody, but we're just saying that by the evidence you can see who's causing the chaos on the planet, and that it is not us, it's by design of highly intelligent beings that recognize what the solution is, and that's the reality that's happening right now before our own eyes.
Oh, and some people believe that these Caucasians they can't manage or take these new energies that are coming in.
That's what we're saying. And when you're saying new energies, the most prolific is the sun, because we're in the sun cycle. This is why they talk about global warming, and because why? The sun attacks beings without melanin.
Non-recessive. Yeah.
Yeah, and those who know, they're trying to go into shelter, into caves, into being away from the sun. So this is something that even amongst the Adamites, they're aware of this.
Yeah.
And
I've heard it being discussing. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, if you can research the fertility rate and what's happening in Europe, and they tell you, like, once your fertility rate has got to a point where it's irreversible, there's nothing you can do about it. This is what's referred to as extinction. Like polar bears and certain species that were once here are no longer here because their time expired.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. And this is not like to offend anybody, or we just teach actual facts and teach the truth. And unfortunately for some people it will be sweet, and for some it's going to be bitter. And they refer to this as the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Yeah.
Then we have to figure out which Lord are we talking about. Yeah. I hope we've helped you with that question.
Okay. I understand everything you said. Thank you.
Okay. We've got to move from the point of understanding, though, to overstanding. And that's with degrees of learning and studying more of Wu-Sabat, and it'll become crystal clear.
Okay.
All right.
Overstand.
Tua. All right. What do? Okay, right. Let's go back to the. Yeah, I mean, you keep literally. You want me to eat this mic? Why? I'm literally like, look, I can't get any closer to the mic, so it must be something. All right, let's see if we turn. Actually, let's try. Should we try and face it like this? We're gonna do some experiments here. But look, it's now. Let me just bring that down, and then we try it that angle and see. Right, we're pointing it in the direction of our mouths.
My check.
How's that? All right, let's see what the chat is saying. Wow, there's a lot. Okay, Nana. Okay, before that, we got another call. Unfortunately, the calls take priority. So, hey, Rahubat caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Hey, Rahubat. This is Terry Jamal.
Hey, Terry.
Calling in from Babylon.
Yeah.
Hey, Rahubat.
Rahubat.
Yeah. So my question is regarding dreams.
Yeah.
I think I asked some questions in the class we had last Saturday, but I just had maybe two questions just to get credit. I want to get credit on.
Okay.
So the first question is, how are there any practices we can do, like before we sleep, to pre-program our dreams so that we can be able to like remember them when we wake up, since we pre-programmed them before sleeping? Like, are there specific exercises we can do in that regard?
Absolutely. Everything begins with intentions. That's why we say your intentions are just as important, because you might have good intentions, but then things don't work out. Our ancestors, they record everything you do, including your thoughts. And yeah, so making intentions and preparation to make a connection is something that you can do. one of the biggest things, I mean, it depends on what you actually want to do when you go to sleep, in terms of what do you want to do. Do you want to travel? Do you want to connect with specific people? So obviously it's going to be dependent on what it is you're trying to actually achieve. But yes, your intentions and asking for your, in religion they say you have two angels on your left and your right hand side, specifically in Islam, but those are your guardians that record everything you do. And when we say it, not in a religious way, but everything that you're seeing around you is a vibration, a waveform, that is energy. And that is, it's a frequency that is recorded. And it's recorded in something called your me stone or your me disc, right? So that's everything you've ever done, because everyone has something known as a zero time reference, right? Which is unique to you. And that zero time reference is what from that moment, everything about you is recorded. I mean, every single thing you've ever done. If you've spat on the floor, any fluids you've exchanged, etc., etc., it's all recorded on your me stone. The reason being that when you're being transported from one place to another, and you don't need the physical body, or you do, but it gets broken down digitally. I mean, me and the brother Neville, when we did a one-to-one, we were talking about this, and actually looking forward to doing a part 2, and that's called cosmic mathematics. It's about how you're broken down into digital form, transported somewhere based on the zero time reference that you have, then you can be reassembled. Years ago, they showed you this in Star Trek when you used to hear, "Beam me up, Scotty," and then they will just be teleported. Teleportation. And
the master teacher played the man from Planet Smith. I think I came across that.
Right, exactly. And what would have been deemed science fiction, it's just like even the phones you have in your hand now. The flip phones, those were in those Star Treks years and years ago. So basically saying that everything you do is recorded. So your intentions are important. And when you are intentionally wanting to do something, you open up those portals, those gateways, to get assistance from your oversoul and your ancestors. And that's how you will do it. So preparation, getting into the state. Even when people go into the state of meditation, you kind of have to have the right intentions, and then you go through the process of, in religion they call it ablution, where you clean yourself, wash yourself. These days in religion they've made it very lazy, where everybody just goes into a place like a mosque or whatever, and they just clean their elbows and their feet and just. But yeah, those ablution is to prepare spiritually, and water is a very spiritual thing. Cleanser. This is why it's utilized. So yeah, you can make intentions and prepare, and then with practice and keeping records, documenting your dreams, etc., you will be able to figure it out for yourself. Because the amount of times we get asked a question about dreams, and and the master teacher already explained, nobody can explain your dream to you but yourself, unless they're in the dream as well. You see, so I hope that we don't really hope in Wu-Sabat, but did that help?
It has really does.
Okay.
The next part of the question is because I want to understand that.
See why I bring that down? Because it covers your face. Sorry, go ahead.
As we talk about the collective consciousness, I think there was a time we were talking about the consciousness, the super consciousness, and the unconscious mind.
Yeah.
So yes, so I wanted to tie in. Is there any way a correlation between the dreams we have and the collective unconsciousness? Since it seems like most people, like we tend to tap into the consciousness into dream state. So is there a sort of a correlation, or what's the relationship between these two?
Yeah, there actually is. I think it's in the Proverbs of Yanun. There's a diagram that the master shows and gives us in terms of how you go into the different states in terms of like conscious and unconsciousness when you go into, you know, to sleep and into like sleep paralysis, etc. But what you've said that's so important is this. We collectively, as you're talking about the collective conscious mind, have the ability to change our fate by what we do. And this is why it's so important that we are all mentally on the same page, as it were, because we can allow what's going on to happen or we can change it. Right. And we can do that by uniting mentally. Because as the master teacher, Partner Babyanun, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, His Excellency, teaches us that if we put our minds together and we're united mentally, we are automatically united physically. Right. And by learning and speaking our language, that blocks the frequencies that are interfering with us and making us divided and unable to think properly, let alone reason. So we can do things, miraculous things. You know, we have alchemy, which became known as miracles, and we're able to do whatever we put our mind to. So this is why Wu-Sabat and the knowledge that Partner Babyanun is teaching us is uniting us, regardless of whether we came from a Christian background, a Muslim background, Nation of Islam, Hebrew Israelite, Israeli Church, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever walks you came from. Once you get into Wu-Sabat, it brings it all together. That's right. You know, and then you're free mentally from the spell. And that which we imagine to do, we will be able to do. This is what was happening with Nimrod when he was able to get, he was able to get everyone to work together and achieve building. And when we say building, we're saying building anything, you see. So, you've asked a very pertinent question, and this is why we're doing the works we do to reach 8 billion people on the planet who can change the fate or the outcome of this planet by way of just changing your mind. Stop doing the crap. Not you specifically, I'm talking in general, right? Stop doing the things that bring you hell. And then you then bring that hell to everyone else. And you
mind
just
over matter.
Absolutely. All right? Each one reach one and teach one. All right. And tap there for Wadu. Right. Back to the chat. Okay, where was I? I mean, you can pick some. Anu Traore is doing a nice job, but he still follow the Islamic way of life, which is not actually an African thing. Okay. Yeah, but he will get to Wu-Sabat. We need to get to him.
Yeah.
That's all he needs. He needs Wu-Sabat. Okay. And we need to know the law and science. Yeah, we do. We need to know everything. We master it all. Okay. Mr. Spirituality, you said my opinion. This is what religions are, opinions. We tried to deal with the facts. We've got another call. It doesn't look like we're going to get through most of these comments, but let's take the next call. Greetings, caller. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
I'm Nabil from Ghana.
Rahubat.
My question today is about the pineal gland and the difference between the pineal gland and the barytheric gland.
Okay. So the barytheric gland is really, if you hear the word, it starts with ba, which deals with, that's the word for soul. in our language, ba'a or ba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody has a soul. And what the barothry gland does is it reconnects all those things like you have, like you said, the pineal gland and other glands that you have. It brings it all together in a way that you can utilize the full function and capacity of your brain. You see, so
Okay.
that it's almost like you've got the different pieces,
Levels.
yeah, and you've got the heart, which is dealing with the love and the shook,
Ashok.
yeah. But then you don't only need one, you need all of them to connect. And then your abilities in terms of, once you have the barothry gland, you start to use your
Telepathy,
telepathy, psychometry, exactly,
actually,
exactly,
clairvoyance.
clairvoyance. So it all comes together once you have that in a way that it's not you're not doing it by chance or randomly. You're doing it when you want to
By
do it.
our will.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go, by your will. All
Okay.
right.
And my second question is about our pepsodent that we use every morning and night, and the sodium fluoride in it.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's like calcifies the pineal gland. Is there like some like herbal or natural pepsodent you can be using daily to prevent that?
Yes, I mean, this is what we're saying. Like, if you're not in control of your water, and things like that, but guess what? The most powerful thing you can use is your thoughts. You are as a being, you have all the elements that you go out to look for and to get. And you're able to, this is what we were saying about alchemy. You're able to transform. They give you the stories of Yeshua or Jesus,
Yes.
transforming, you know,
Wine, water to wine. Yeah.
exactly. You can do that. And this is where you change the vibration and the frequency of the water. So when you're even this is where people get the concept of praying over the food and things like that before you take it, because your
Yeah.
intentions and your energy can actually protect you and transform things. But you can
That's
also
crazy.
utilize. Sorry, go ahead.
That's crazy because like lately I've been having that same thoughts and like let me say I shook to the water before I shower with it and
Right.
all that into the language and I always do that but like that's crazy you just said it.
Yeah, that's good. And this this is what Wu-Sabat has many, 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 many different levels. This is what we're saying, that even though you can use things like shungai and there are certain things that you can, but you're the being, you're the one with that power and that energy. This is why, even though people can say, oh, people can do voodoo on me and all these things, it's down to
Yeah,
whether or
yeah,
not
yeah.
you have a psychic self-defense or a mechanism by way of protecting yourself and your energy field. We underestimate our power. This is what the master says. You guys don't know who you really are. And Wu Sabat helps you to start to realize the abilities and the power that you have, you know. And this is what, yeah, the awakening and the information that we've been given is to help us be able to do.
And it's about getting in tune with the 30 spirits and listening to those that are for a better cause. That's
Mm.
here to uplift
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I've been willing to join but like I can't because like my mom she's and my family I'll say they are really really religious though. Like when you trying to explain, they be exactly what you guys are saying.
Mm.
But I live with my mom for now, so I really want to join. And I live in Ghana. I'm 21 years old,
Mm.
and I really want to join, but I can't right now. I want to like move out by myself, then
I mean, when we
study.
say join, you came in this world alone and you'll be leaving alone. It's your journey, not your mother's journey or whoever's journey.
Right.
Although I,
Yeah, like
I get what you're saying. Yeah, the environment you're in might make it a little bit challenging for you to practice Wusabat fully.
yes, yes,
But
true, true.
it's about the mind as well. And you can just study and read and don't really be trying to change other people.
Set example.
Yeah.
If you set a good example, they might look at it and say, this is for the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, there is an urgency, but it's not about rushing to the point where you're not absorbing and actually like learning properly because you're in haste. Yeah, so take your time, study, and you're already joined because you're already connected mentally, and it's all about being connected with us, even online if you're not close to a local community. But there are communities that are coming in Ghana, so you'll see more when they see more people and things happening. Yeah, it'll be easy. All right.
And I want to ask about like soul contracts. Can you touch on that a bit? Because I want to really learn about it. I want to listen about it. Soul contract.
Soul contract. The thing is, where do they get the information from? Because people on the internet today, because of social media and so forth, everyone thinks they're a master teacher, and everyone, but what happens is, if somebody teaches something, you have to scrutinize and ask them to break it down. But we do have part of that called soulmate, and we know that we came down here, and some of us made contracts, as in when we came here, because we were given the choice to come here, and we chose to come and exercise what people term free will, and that's where you have to go through this whole suffering. But when you say soul contract, some people have made a pact with what people call the devil.
That's what I'm thinking.
and that's why no matter what, they don't submit fully to Wu-Sabat or to the master teacher in terms of being able to humble themselves, not in a arrogant way, but just because he is the guide, he's the being that has been sent to help. So when you say soul contracts, it depends on who the contract was with. And in religion, there are a lot of contracts that were signed between extraterrestrials and like Abraham and certain tribes who are protected by extraterrestrials, why they won't touch, say, the children or what we call the golden children or the Natharu's children, you see. And if you're talking about it more in terms of a relationship between, a soulmate or, a being that you may have been in union with in another life, and you've come here and you guys kind of like link up again, that's a completely different, subject. But you'll have to be a little bit more specific in terms of where you got that soul contract reference from and what exactly you're referring to.
Not everyone has a soul.
Yeah, it's about the truth is, like, Africa, maybe religious parents, they don't really know information, so they like send you to a person that knows and kind of make a reading and tell you what's gonna happen and all that. And I was kind of like confused about it, so I was like, what they are saying, what the person who's making the reading saying, kind of, it's a very old woman, she kind of connects to what you guys are saying a bit, so I was kind of confused though. That is the reason why I actually, it was about my sister. She said that like, she knows what's going to happen, and I was like, no, that's like kind of, a regular human can't really know someone's soul contract, so that's why I came to ask about it.
Yeah, there's some people that they're professed to know, or they're like fraudsters. Yeah. And some of them, the master explained this in one of the older recordings where he was explaining that, these shamans and people that people go to, they may be in a location, for example, where there's a natural phenomena that happens in that region, in that place, and they then capitalize on it and make out like they have some special powers, but it's just a natural phenomena. But there are people who have gifts as well, natural gifts to be able to interpret and see things and stuff like that. You know, we have things like what you call remote viewing, and certain people are able to have certain gifts because it tells you, even in the religious world, they tell you a lot of these people that so-called performing miracles is because it tells you that they will have wonders, they will do great wonders, and to fool the people, and many will, you know,
Even try and fool the elite.
try and fool the elite.
Yeah.
And some of these extraterrestrials are the ones that are working behind the scenes to make it look like it's them, you know, but they sell their soul to the devil, as they call it. And especially like in the music industry and all kinds of things that you see happening for wealth. So yeah, we deal with you studying Wu-Sabat and applying it. That's the science where you get to know everything you need to know. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tuned in. So
All right.
thank you.
Antak after afu wadu. Okay. Let's see if we can get through some of the chat. Okay. Where were we? Every time I come back, there's so many questions. Abdul Kadus. Okay. Turn on the apocalypse. Oh yeah, Dr. York versus the computer. Thank you for Asar, for that. Yeah, that's another excellent scroll by the master teacher. What's that? Can you talk about the ancient handbags?
Oh, that's
seen all over.
That's an ancient smear there. Handbags, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what you want us to say about it. Do you have anything on it? Do you
I'll be speculating, man. Without speculating, man.
We'll have to come back to that one if we get any.
I mean, who said it's a handbag?
You know what I'm saying? Like, they say that like, so, is it women were carrying it or?
No, it's some of the images of the Anunnaki. They've got something that looks like a handbag. But,
okay, let me answer, Mr. Spirituality. By the knowledge of energy not being able to be created nor destroyed, would that mean there is no beginning and no end? And the fact that no one has your answers but you go within with yours true. Okay, let's break that down. So even though we say energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it has different levels or different vibrations, and not everyone has access to the higher vibrations. Yeah. Right. So when you say no beginning or no end, is you're really dealing with cycles. Yeah. So yeah, even though you're cycling or spiraling, it's not the concept of what we're saying, beginning and end, doesn't make sense, because to have a beginning and end means that where do you start and where do you end for you to know what's a beginning and what's the end. So that's the whole thing about this alpha and omega, because it's like they say has no beginning or no end, but really energy has levels. So when the simplest way to describe it is when we talk about the levels of ether. So 9 ether being the highest, then you have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 going lower. So yeah, so if you can't get past 6 ether, it doesn't mean that 9 doesn't exist, but you can't get to 9. And when you say no one has your answers, that's again can be an ego thing, and we have to learn to burn out the ego, because there are people that know more. Because, like, for example, Partner Babyanun has his barothry gland, and he can do and teach things that nobody else can. So you don't have all the answers, even though they may be programmed or within your DNA or your matrix. But you need a spiritual master to I had the word to
unlock.
Yeah, that's it. Unlock these chambers and give you what you need. So yeah, you don't, unless you're saying you're fully 100% spiritual master and a physical master, you've mastered everything on the physical as well as the spiritual, then you wouldn't be here.
Has he got his gland?
You wouldn't be here, because being here is so that you can master these lower planes or lower realms. Okay, yeah. Sunra was saying what we were saying, because the master spoke about what's the side of the moon? There's a side of the moon, Sidonia. Yeah, he explains about the there's a phrase I'm trying to remember where they were already settling on the other side of the moon in a place called Sidonia. That's spelled Cydonia, and they already found water and things like that. So they know that. Remember that you had Alalu was already on Mars and other beings. This is where the face on Mars and the structures that they've found are there. So they know there was ancient civilizations on Mars before. It's Curtis again. You know those who drink a lot of alcohol, is it safe to say the disagreeable extraterrestrials would look at them? Wagui? Yeah, they're seasoning themselves to become food for the gods. That's what they're doing. Because it's like, extraterrestrials like specific types of flavors. Just like when people have smoked whatever or jerk, whatever. It's like they like certain taste, and that's what those that consume a lot of alcohol are doing, seasoning themselves and preparing themselves to be food for the gods. Okay. Okay, is the sound, someone was saying, I think that was before, so. Asaru and Saken look shook. You both, can we have another book, please? Do you know what? It's already done, bro. So that's amazing that you're on that wavelength. That's Fear or Halo. Please, from you guys, the fast track was more than lit. It's my holy book. You know what? Thank you so much. We did that based on this question that we're constantly getting asked. Yeah. What book should I start from? And what we did is made it, it's like a reference book where the things you hear us teach about that we've learned from the master teacher for so many years, we can rule off like in different cultures, like you'll have like in Sumeria, you'll have the Muzi, Tammuz, and and then you go into Egypt, is Osiris, or what they Greeks call Osiris, Isis. All of that is in the book. We give you all the findings of like, the different fossils and things like Lucy and that they've found. There's a lot of reference, and we talk about the different colors and vibrations. We go into the spirituality. We talk about extraterrestrials, the Big Bang Theory. We talk about a lot of stuff that you have in a little handy pocket book that you can carry with you, that you can use when you have to deal with anyone, because we've done the work already. Like the master teacher did for us. He said, you don't need to go through all of these schools. I've done it all for you. So I'm taking you on a long journey, on a short path. Right. And then he just gave it all to us. And, something that will take people a lifetime to learn. He gave it to us like boom, so that's what we've done with that. So yeah, the next one is even better. It's going to blow your mind. So look out for that. See, the fertility rate of Europe is declining, same as Japan, South Korea, China, but in Africa, it's actually booming, 100%. Asaru again says, facts. Why are they prompting get you a Tamahu, Edomite? And they're actually paying people to go and, they're paying thousands of pounds to get our, the seed, our raw seed.
Even when you see the adverts today, you're seeing a lot of race mixing. Yeah. Trying to tie into the vine.
Yeah. People want to get information from other people rather than going within and getting their information that belongs to them. Yeah, the thing is that, Mr. Spirituality, that's good, but you forget that people have been programmed and lied to for years. And now what they might think is going within.
Yeah.
Is going within to mine crap instead of mining, you know, your mind for the jewels of your soul. So yeah, not everybody's on the same level, but at the same time, the master teacher is here.
And where the answer's coming from within, is it going to come from an agreeable analysis or
Exactly. Someone says, speaking of dreams, I had one with both of you all last night. The synchronicity. All right, I have to tap into that. See what were we doing? Hotep and we were talking. Oh, he's telling us now. We're talking about unity. How, we is Mahiru. Okay. Like this video, please. Okay, I'm just going through the chat to see mind over matter and mind in ma'at. 100%. All right, let's keep going. Ancestral artifacts over religious opinions. True. Actual facts. People are just, thanks again for the documentary. Mind you, everything on that was quoted and cited is already in public domain. You know, we just want to bring awareness and like make everyone do their part in helping. Go to United Sabians worldwide.com. How can I help? And give a free will offering. Don't just talk about, we don't want that situation where like we talk about all the leaders of the past and like, oh man, they did this, they did that. Malachi is here now.
Right.
And we are all here to do our job. Everyone has a part to play. Unks Uja. One of the best channels on the planet. Yeah, thank you, Auntie.
True that.
Word up. Build your house on rock, and where can I get the drip? Okay, Detroit. People from Benin, and I love Detroit and USA. I'm figuring out my purpose. Okay. I was reading one of the Partorak. I think it's one of the Partoraks. Actually, that section in the documentary where the brothers Haptui and Usia breaking down the language, Miss Batia, where it talks about, you know, Benin and Igbo and Yoruba, and that was very interesting. Hey, brothers in Ghana, we're all rising. I love it. Yeah, that's true. Soul of Susano. It's a spiritual awakening. Yep. Thanks to Noble Drew Ali. Yep. Noble Drew Ali was one of the, you know, the people that got us going. Yep. And as we explain it, all of these people were passing the baton. You know, when you're running a relay, and when you run a relay, it's very important to put the person that's going to win the race at the end.
Oh, you know who that is.
You know who that is, right? Like, if you ever watch Jamaica with the times of Hussein, yes, like, even if all the others are falling short, once he gets it, it's a done deal. That's Partner Babianon. He's the one at the end, in the last, from your, like you say, Honorable Drew Ali, Noble Drew Ali, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and all the people before, Marcus Garvey, they did their part. But they didn't have the full 360 of the spiritual and the physical to be a 720-degree being, which is God.
They didn't have the golden spikes, man.
No, not at all. So they did their bit, and now we got to do our bit.
True that.
And he's there to finish it off, but we have to do our part.
We all got a part to play in this.
Yep, once again, remember to join the official Wu-Sabat Telegram group. The videos are very low. We can't hear you properly. Maybe that was from before. Look, I'm literally on the mic. Yep, here's what's being overstood. Yanun is doing his job giving us Partarak. If you know he doesn't like humans, remember the Ashuk he showed, so they said go teach them directly. Yeah, absolutely. levels rather than the beginning or ending. Looking without, in my opinion, you should be getting other folks' information. Okay, I think that's a conversation. I'm not seeing any questions. I'm looking for questions. Honorable Elijah Muhammad changes the life of his people in the Bengal. The thing about the reality with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and even Noble Joe Ali is their foundation was still religion, and this is what has hindered us as well. So we're in a day and time where religion has expired. Yeah, and if you don't believe me, go check it out, because you know they were dealing with Arabs. This is why they spoke of the Asiatic black man, and you know, but we're not Asians, we're Africans. Okay, I need no master teacher. I'm a master teacher. Anybody can claim anything and talk, but it's about the results and the works, and not your master over yourself. First, you got to be master over yourself. But where do you have the works in terms of community building and bringing the humanity together and answering questions that no one else can answer? So it's again, we have to remember not to let our ego run away with us as well.
Well, if he's a master, he can come and do a one-to-one on you. Will you see how good?
Well, it's not. We're not competing, but we're just saying.
See how much of a master you are.
People can claim the title, but the evidence will speak for itself.
Put it to the test, man.
Can you give us more information on the correct language we should be using, as we can't use telepathy at the moment? Well, the language is Misbatia. That's Nuwapic, Sabaik. It's what many people refer to it as. And this is what we're learning, and we teach it, we speak it every day. And of course, it helps you with your telepathy, because that's one of those higher senses that you will get back. And as you train yourself, you start to use it more.
And it's not that you've lost the ability of telepathy. It's just like you don't know how to access it at will. That's the problem.
Well, we're in Liverpool that offers your services. We have a brother that deals with, you know, the North and Midlands and that. But if you join the Telegram group, you will get access to those classes and the information. What is the meaning of seeing orbs? It depends on the orbs. There are different types of orbs. There are orbs that are Corriganes that enter the Adamite, you know, when they're pregnant in the 6th month. And they, you know, they're the orbs that we saw that are actually extraterrestrial craft. So there are different types of orbs, and depending on which ones you're seeing. The clothes, the hat, and the uniform. Did Elijah Muhammad do this? Yeah, we're not here to really talk about Elijah Muhammad and what he was accused of and stuff like that. That's you can watch the documentaries. But we're here to deal with Wu-Sabat and answer question on Wu-Sabat. I'm trying to find more questions. Could you each tell one truth people aren't ready for? Ooh, that's a good question. People aren't ready to be God. And they say, you know, we're goddess, we're God. But to be God is to take on responsibility and to do godly things and manifest things as a God does. A God creates other gods. Yeah, that's Maya Nasaru. I don't know if he says, can you each give one thing that people are not, one true people aren't ready for?
Unlimited powers. No need for beans. Ireland did like that. That's it.
People are not ready to sacrifice for what is right. And that's what the master teacher has done. He has sacrificed for us. People are not people. People are readers. You know, they like to read, and that's it. And they just get the information and read. But it's like put it into action. You know, like unite, come together, work together, build. All right.
Use it to unite, bring us together. Don't just use it to sound heavy and deep.
Yeah, people be giving and kind of making up their own doctrines as they go along, and I think, in my opinion, and that's very nice. But that's again what keeps people under the spell. Right. Opinions of men. Okay, we already answered that. Can you? And again, I see it keeps coming up. Your experience is your experience, and it's really a message or a sign for you. People, some of the questions. Can you talk about crystal skulls?
I just saw that one.
I mean, there's so much. The crystals were...
The skulls are made out of crystals, that's it.
Crystals are used to store information. Yeah. And a lot of, well, not just store information. Some crystals are used to store information. And if you want to read actual fact, tones, vibrational tone, sounds, and vibrational frequencies, something like that. I can't remember that. I think it's actual fact number 18. It goes into more about crystals and how they were utilized in the pyramids. Crafts use crystals because of the energy and the vibration. The crystal city has many crystals on it. Can you talk about the Olmecs, Maya, and Aztecs? Did they come from Africans? Yes, they did. Because if you remember, before the continental drift, people just walked over to what you're calling the Amexium or America. The America is Amirs and the Incas. Yeah. And the Chinese, by way of Husheng, came and mixed with those Olmecs who are Africans. You can look at their features, look at the big nose, the big lips, the heads, the shape. They definitely, those big heads that you see of the Olmecs, they clearly have African features. And what people are calling Native Americans are these Denisovans that we were talking about. And that's because of the mix between the Sheng dynasty, yeah, with Husheng. And they came and mixed with those people to produce. Look at what they call hair. It's hollow, like the Chinese. You see, there are many things that you can check out that give you the facts. Again, Native American readings. You just say mathematically, why did the devil world rulership formally ended in 1914? I received an answer from DeepSeek and want to compliment. That's just, again, based on what you're saying. Because when you say mathematically, and when you say the devil, what devil are you talking about? There's so many devils.
You said 1914?
Yeah. When we had World War Wars in 1945 and after. So the devil was definitely still around.
Well, the first World War was 1914, then the second World War was 1941. So how's that?
Yeah. And the devil still running rampant today. So, yeah. And people just try to evade reading the scrolls where the master teacher gives you the answers clearly. Yep. You don't need to second guess and I believe and I think and I. You know, you got to, the I is the number 9 in the alphabet. You got to manage yourself and the eradication of the I-ness and come together and be a oneness. It's your perception. Everyone has their own perception. Yeah, some of these questions.
We ain't got no...
We don't... Yeah, we keep saying... Wu-Sabat deals with actual facts, reality confirmations, evidence.
We don't speculate.
Yeah. all that realm of covenants deals with religion, and the real covenant that you're talking about is the one that extraterrestrial made with beings like your Abraham, yeah, so they can take food, and how they've made certain covenants with the governments to, yeah, take certain beings for food. We've kind of covered every single question. Oh, the blue. See, what you're saying, the blue-eyed devil. What about the grafted man by Yakub? What about the black devil?
Yeah.
There are many devils. The word devils means false accuser. Supreme knowledge of the nation of Islam lost and found. Yeah, those lessons have been renewed and by none other than Pana Babyanun and clarified. But we've moved away from those religions. We're dealing with the hereafter doctrine of Wu-Sabat. Can you speak more of the Pellman scroll? People keep trying to take us backwards. We're moving forward. Like, read actual facts, yeah? Master secrets. Pataruk. And you will forget about those old expired doctrines.
Because no one wins the race in racism, man.
Yeah, we gotta elevate those low vibrational doctrines. Just keep us, yeah, at a low vibration. What's happened to the phone line? No, like, you can call in and ask your questions because we've gone through all the chat. I have an unknown fear of facing an entity outside of the human race. When I heard about ancestral fear, I was curious on how to know that and if I want to know that. How would it be possible to figure out if this is ancestral fear or something else? In Wu-Sabat, Pana Babyanun teaches Sabians, Nuwapians, to fear nothing, full stop. So you have to overcome that fear. I know it's easier said than done, but you have to try and get to the bottom of it, because through epigenetics, there is the possibility that you've inherited fear. Because remember that what they call slavery was a part of the programming to beat our ancestors into submission by fear. Fear is one of the tools that was used, to the point where today people only go to church and to the mosques and worship these deities and gods because of fear.
They want to get burnt up.
Yeah, they're afraid they're going to get burnt up and be burnt in heaven, in hell forever and ever. So we need to, overcome the fear. Okay, remember, you can call in. Let me give you the number. +44 753 996 3882. Once again, the London international number is, or code is +44. Then you dial 753 996 3882. All right, to call in live and ask your question.
Mr. I don't know if you've gone through this one. Mr. Spirituality said that God and the devil are actions rather than beings, in my opinion.
We don't deal with opinions, but you're right, because you are agreeable and disagreeable. So depending on what side of your nature you're exercising, that would be referred to as, you say, agreeable or disagreeable, or God and the devil, if you want to use those terms. Everyone has a little God in them and a little devil in them.
That's real.
What do you think about manifesting your own reality? That's what Wu-Sabat is about. That's what we're saying, that you, so as a man thinketh, you manifest your reality, because your universe is you, and nothing would exist without you, and everything is surrounding you, you being in the center. So, yep. So yeah, you definitely manifest your own reality. This is why people give themselves hell by what they think and what they do. Remember, you help us by liking the videos. The algorithm helps when you watch and view and like and subscribe and share. Share.
At least to 9 people, yeah? One person should be able to share that to at least 9 person, and then that person shares it.
Yeah, and you've just reminded me of something when you're saying that. Like when you talk about your reality, our collective reality is if we all just did what we're supposed to do at the same time.
Yeah.
You see, so let's say we have 2,000 people in our Telegram group, and everyone goes, right now we want to double that. And all we have to do is everyone share it or invite one person. And if we move like that, that's what real love and unity is. Like, move together. Like, you see how soldiers are trained. I'm not saying become a robot, but like we can get things done instantly, in real time, you know? So, but what you do, you say, all right, everyone do it now. And that someone will do it. You might get a few do it. Some might not even log on to the Telegram for months. And then others will say, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
Some will do it next week. Some will do it a month later. You know, and before you know it, we've missed the boat. So we definitely need to be able to move as one.
We've missed 2 pickups already, people.
We've missed all of them. And we're going to miss the last one too. That's what the master says. So we got to get our act together. We got to get him out now. Enough is enough, you know, and that's all we have to do. All just do one thing, you know, and, you know, you're seeing how people are galvanizing to support Ibrahim Traore, right? Because of he's doing things, and, you know, we're not, Wu-Sabat, we don't really get into the politics and all of that, but what we're saying is that the way people are rallying around him because of the things he's done for the people. Now, when you compare that to what Babylon has done for the world, for the planet, why are we not rallying around him in the same way to get him out? All right, we've got another call. Hey, Rahubat caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your questions, please?
Hello, my name is Ngoyile Siban. I'm calling from Australia.
Rahubat.
Rahubat. It's good to hear from you guys.
Always.
Yeah, I just understand. I'm from Zimbabwe. And just understand about like ancestral knowledge. I was just trying to ask, how do I honor the ancestors of this area, the Aboriginal people? Because I understand they're the same kind as us. If maybe I'm mistaken, if you could just expand on that, like how I can honor them.
I mean, you can honor anyone, but you have to start with your immediate family, meaning that the strongest link is going to be through your mother, to your grandmother, to your great-grandmother, because the mitochondrial DNA, which they pass down from female to female, and them being the goddesses, is the strongest link to your ancestors. Now, your ancestors may have roots in what you're calling Australia, so you would have to connect with them. And in our culture, you learn how to communicate with your different ancestors. That, you know, first of all, you've got to remember that you're in the driving seat, going back 4 generations of people, which we just mentioned, like your mother and your father, their mother and father, their mother and father, and their mother and father, go into your great grandparents, and all those people are in your matrix. So what you need to be able to do is get a family tree done, and name all those people if you can, and then go about doing research to finding out who is in what in those positions, and then learn about them. What did they do? What did they have? What likes did they have? What didn't they like? What was their career? What were they kind? Were they not kind? Did they, whatever you learn about them, you make a note, And then you will start to see how their genetics, their traits manifest in you. Because as the Ka'a, which is spirit, you're the one that is in the driver's seat, and some of them are not good or bad, that they're agreeable and disagreeable. The ones that want to experience life in the physical world, in this physical realm, through you, because they're no longer here. So they're the ones that will cause you to do things that you may not necessarily want to do, but there will be a strong urge or an influence to make you do it. So, for example, if they were an alcoholic or they smoke cigarettes, you will struggle with, trying to, if they manage to get you to start, you will struggle to give that up. But once you recognize it, then you will know that they're the ones that are trying to get into the driving seat, and you will suppress them. And the more you suppress the disagreeable ones, they don't have that much influence over your life. And the agreeable ones want to help you succeed, want to help you elevate. They will, influence you to go to class, read the scrolls, and do the positive things. Sorry. So that's what you need to focus on first, and then it extends outwards, because it's like if you want something done where you are and where you live, right? You can't go straight to the president or to the prime minister or to the highest person, which in our case would be the Natharu. You would have to go to like your local MP, and they will take care of the constituents. And then if you ever get the opportunity to meet, the prime minister or whoever, then I'm saying that to say a lot of the times the things we want in our lives, we have to connect to our immediate ancestors. The things we want for like humanity, and bigger picture things, that's where the Natharu step in, and the overseers, you see. So we have to do things in degrees and learn the right process to get the best results. Does that help?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Can I just ask another question in terms of language?
Sure.
So I'm from Zimbabwe, and we speak Shona.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've researched, I found it's closest to Aramaic. I don't know if you guys really understand about that. And is Aramaic a Wu-Sabat language, or it's if you could expand on that, if you have any knowledge behind that.
I thought Shona was similar to Sabaik, because it's got the clicks, no?
Well.
Oh no, that's Debele. That's Debele. Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, all those, they're known as Semitic languages. They all stem from the root language, which is Sabaik or Mispatia. So it's kind of back to front to want to learn or study things that came afterwards, when if you study the roots, you can see how they all connect to it, and it has the greatest potency. And so when you say Aramaic, that's coming from a person called Aram, and this falls into the realms of religion. Most of the languages that people are speaking, like Ashuric, comes from Ashur, or like Syriac Arabic, Amharic. So all of these they going back from Mispatia. So that's why the master says if you learn and master and study Mispatia, you kind of automatically learn the others. Why they will say, oh, some words in Arabic are in Mispatia, or there will be similarities from different languages. Like my brother was saying about the click, that ties back to the dolphins, and when we came out of the waters using echolocation and hit the so the language to learn.
Actually, is my original name actually is Mobile.
Oh, you see it there.
See, yeah. So learn Mispatia. We have to give it to you straight now. Just like we're not saying don't use your mother tongue and but Mispatia is what will help you to elevate and contact and reach the beings that are on the higher levels, which is the Panatharu, the overseers.
Say your name again.
Yeah, hear the click there? Yeah.
That's the ones.
Yeah, that ties us right back to the original beings that, you know, seeded the planet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, pa. So I have to really learn more of that language then. Is that what you mean? Or
Learn Miss Batia. Yeah.
Miss Batia, okay.
Yeah. If you're not in our Telegram group, join the...
Taking up your time. Yeah.
No, look, we make ourselves available this time for answering questions, so it's okay.
Because you guys mentioned I'm linked to my great-grandmother and my mother, and I've seen my grandmother in my dreams a lot of times, and she's announced to myself before she died. Before she died, I saw her in a vision that she was gonna die, and I let my mom know. Could you please expand why, like I've seen her in my dreams and that kind of thing?
Yeah, you said she's died. We don't say that. We say they've crossed over or translated, transmuted, because like we say, you can't really destroy energy. And she's still alive. She's just in a different realm and different state of existence, making contact with you and trying to reach you. And this is what we have to be able to train ourselves to recognize and do. But they teach you to fear what they call ghosts, because theirs is a ghost, where you get the gospels from, the ghost spell. And they teach you to fear, and they use things like, in Jamaica, you know, we say doppy, and, you know, like people run away. But that's all to instill fear, so you don't have that confidence to be able to receive your ancestors and communicate and speak with them, you know. So Wu-Sabat will teach you how to actually communicate with them properly. And as you get better at it, you can even literally manifest them. You see? Yeah.
Wow. You guys, you just make me too hyped. Like, I really appreciate your knowledge.
Thank you. It's all good. It's Barnabab Yanun, the master teacher. That's who teaches us, and we just share the information. But yeah, all right.
Thank you. Robert, thank you.
Wadu.
Wadu.
Yeah. All right. Right. We got just under half an hour left, so if you haven't got your questions in, now is the time. Right, let's see the chat, because I think the chat might have some new questions. What's
that, Stanley Kelly? If the Bible has expired, why use it as reference?
Well, you can answer that.
Well, we use the Bible, the Quran, we use the Bible and the Quran.
Hold that thought. We got another call. You're gonna answer it after this, okay? Rahubat caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Yes, greetings. My name is Hillary, and I'm calling from the U.S., Massachusetts specifically.
Tua, Rahubat.
Thank you. I was calling because I wanted to know, can you speak on the connection between the Anunnaki beings and humans with 6 fingers or toes? In other words, polydactylism, I think is what it's called.
Right.
My specific question was, is it a genetic trait that's associated with the agreeable ones, such as Inky, or the disagreeable ones, such as Enlil? And the reason I'm asking is because I myself was born with 6 fingers that were removed, but it's a genetic trait that was passed to me from my paternal side, my father's side. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It is genetics. But there was a time where different extraterrestrials used to come to this planet. Once, you know, Adamites, they were creating different types of beings, and it was almost like a competition to see who would come up with the best creatures. And this is where a lot of the deformities on the planet came from. Beings that had, if you look at a lot of like the Hindu beings who have like, they depict beings with like 6 arms, long noses, and all, and it's because you had so many different beings that were just experimenting, and this experiment led to when the Adamites were created or grafted. And so I'm basically saying that some of those genetic traits have passed down to today. So this is the question the master was asking, because if it says God made us in his image and likeness, who was the image and likeness that, like you say, has the extra toe or the extra finger? Because when you say image and likeness, it's got to be related to someone. But if you read, we have a scroll called Designer Genes, and another one called Freaks and the Perfect Creature, and another one called um, Plot of the Aliens. I can't remember the full title, but yeah, this is why we ask people to be in the Telegram group, because we can actually share links and share information. But it goes into what you're saying, but it is genetics.
Intelligent design.
That's the one.
Design,
That's the
alien
one.
plot.
Yeah, let them have a look at that. That's the one I was trying to remember. Intelligent design, plot of the aliens. Yeah. And so when a master was posing the question, it was because people will say that, the devil is bad and God is good. So he was like, in whose image and likeness is it that people who don't have the same, traits like everybody else, what makes them? So it's not about being you're not good or bad. It's just showing you that it's a lot of it's to do with genetics. And even in there's a scroll the master actually specifically talks about, people with the extra toes and stuff like that, which ties into some of these extraterrestrial beings. Now, when you say the Anunnaki, again, we have to constantly emphasize that that title is an incident that took place, meaning Anu sent beings to the planet in 50s, or a group of 50s, because the craft they came in could only contain 50 passengers. But there are different species from different places that have come to the planet and have had offspring. So when you start to look at the genetics and the traits, you have beings like shaggy beings, or the beings that people refer to as Bigfoot. And those were part of these experiments I'm talking about, where you had the brown, the black, and the red. And if you look at their fur, this is where you look at people on the planet that mix with those genetics will have blonde hair, will have what they call brunette, and will have the black hair. You look at people that suffer from hirsutism. That's because of these shaggy beings, because they're very hairy beings. Also, some of that ties into the Dwanis, which are short beings that are also hairy. Then you have those beings that are so obese. I think, yeah, some of this is covered in the documentary as well, if you haven't seen that. These obese people, I'm not talking about people that just have weight on them. We're talking about weight in tons, where you can't leave your house. They are related or tied into the Deros. Then you have those beings like with the cone heads that are tied into the Teros. And as you go through the other beings like the Donakil, tying into beings with the cranium, ties into the Yakub story. So every person on the planet has a genetic tie to these extraterrestrials, just like the Pleiadians with the blonde hair and the blue eyes that, Hitler was trying to create the Aryan race. So this is why you get the word Caucasus Asian. We say Caucasian, but you're dealing with, Asian that has been stripped off of their color in terms of the recessiveness. So I know I've given you a lot, but it's really to tie into. It's really about genetics and how even the blood types and the different beings on the planet are related to these extraterrestrials by DNA and their genetics.
Okay, thank you. I will do my research on the resources that you provided today. And I asked just because whenever I've tried to do my own personal research, it always has been reference to go back to the Nephilim and fallen angels in the Bible all
Right.
that, and I just didn't know if there was any other information because it just didn't. I felt like there was more to it, but I will do my research on the resources that you provided today.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I do. Okay, I'll let you pick the chat questions. Is there anything else on there? Right, come on, people. We've got 25 minutes left. And yeah, remember to help us because it's not just about just answering questions, it's about applying the knowledge. And one of the things you can do immediately is to help us like this video, share it, because we have a big job to do, people. We really do. And many hands make light work. So the more people that are exposed to Wu-Sabat, the better of our chances of doing what we need to do. Okay, we've got another caller. They're coming in fast. Greetings, Rahubat caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
My name is Nate Thomas, caller from Idaho right now.
Rahubat.
And say it again.
No, I said Rahubat. That's greetings in our
Oh,
language.
you said my bad. Like, I'm sorry for you. Like, no, my question is basically, I'm in college right now, chasing NFL dreams. But one day I asked my uncle, I'm like, just like not knowing why, but I just felt like a deep reason on asking him basically, hey, is me chasing the NFL kind of selfish? Like, in a way, like, I'm not helping people. Because I know that's what I want to do in the future is help people. But just like trying to, I don't know, it's just like a certain living in the U.S. Can you still mesh both and be a good person? Or is that up to me? Like, it's kind of vague, but
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, again, relating to the last question, if you have a strong urge and no matter what you do, you have that calling, it also ties into the designer genes. This is why I was saying that we have that master secret called the designer genes, which explains that because of the DNA that people have been programmed with, some people can't help themselves. Like there's now you can actually, because of the Human Genome Project, you can dissect, the genes and be like, this is responsible for drawing, for singing, for being a basketball player. So some people are naturally gifted because they have it within their genetics, and others are not. And I'm saying that to say that if you can't help yourself, is probably because of the DNA. However, the master teacher also explains that not everyone who chases a dream is gonna make it, in the sense that out of every one Michael Jackson, there are thousands that fell, and that's because they haven't connected to knowing what their real purpose is. So they'll be chasing a dream that will never come through. And so it's important to, this is why we say all these things like study Wu-Sabat, communicate with your ancestors, get to really know what is your purpose. And then that's what you're gonna, try and go down to achieve, as opposed to just what's the reason why you're chasing a particular dream. So I'm not sure, because you didn't really, the question was a little bit vague because you said being a good person. Like, being a good person shouldn't really, and you have to define what is a good person, but it shouldn't, you can do both is what I'm saying. You don't have to, because you're going to be in NFL, that you're a bad person. Because, I know what you mean, because many industries now have been taken over by 6 ether forces and what they do, and it's not really about, just wholesome fun. It's competition. It's about money. It's about, you know, trying to outdo the next person, and you can lose your soul pursuing these things that you may never achieve. You see, so but it is your personal choice and your personal decision. But Wu-Sabat will help you once you have more information to make more informed choices. Do you want to add?
I feel that's like with Jimmy Cliff. He's still a singer, but he's still doing things for the people. You know, like Bob Marley's, where he was a singer, but he was uplifting the human race.
Yeah, I mean, it's about doing something for humanity.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, which means that it kind of helps you not having to come back again, and doing this reincarnation cycle that we're now doing. So you will find your way if you communicate with your ancestors and ask for guidance and have the right intentions and so on. But make sure that you're also applying the same amount of energy into Wu-Sabat as you're doing for, you know, for basketball, because that's what most people forget. They get caught up. You can't, like it says, you can't really serve two masters, and they get caught up in that what they call a rat race, even though you're not a rat. And you just get into a cycle of, you think you're chasing money, but money doesn't even exist like that. So you get caught up and you get the money, it goes back to the system, so you want to get more, and it becomes greed as well. So yeah, I'm sure if you stick to studying Wu-Sabat, communicating with your ancestors, asking them for guidance, you will come to the correct decision. We actually have a is it a Master Secret, the decision? Yeah, there's a scroll called the decision that will help you, and another one called the proof. Yeah, those two will definitely assist in making the right decision.
Bridge to salvation.
The bridge to salvation. Yeah, that's another one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then last question. So I guess, has there ever been a point of you guys' knowledge, growth, or journey to where basically right now, as I'm constantly taking in all these videos, you can kind of get lost into like more mental than physical, like feeling more, you're in your thoughts a little bit more, or always thinking rather than being like the physical world. Do you have that issue? Do you kind of know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, it's being the world but not of it. It's a balancing act, and it's a matter of constantly being aware and in tune that even though you're in the world, it doesn't mean you have to partake or participate in things that are not for your good or your benefit. And this
why
is
do I feel bad for doing that, or like being in that way? You know, like sometimes you feel bad for not being totally in tune with people, or I guess certain foolishness, conversations, or unnecessary conversations. Like, is that just an emotion I have to just master, or?
partly yes, because it's a vibration. When you are on a different vibration of frequency or different resonance, it's natural. You can't be in an environment that is, it's like when you're elevating mentally, you can't be around people talking about low vibrational stuff. It's just like, I'm trying to aspire to greatness, and you just want to go
Coronation Street.
or I don't think they know what that is in America, but you just want to party and, you know, just do things that, you know, they're not as important. But I guess it's like, I use another analogy or an example. Like, if you don't smoke, you don't feel comfortable in a room full of smoke and everyone is smoking. You're just going to want to go out because you can't breathe. You don't feel comfortable. And so when you raise your vibration, when you're aspiring for greatness or doing things that elevate, you can't be around people that just want to waste your time and hold you back. So you shouldn't really feel bad. It's like, it is an emotion, but you learn to balance things, because it's like, okay, let me give you a good example that many people struggle with, because we have soul and we have compassion. You might pass somebody that is begging, and you look at them and you feel bad for them, and you feel like, you know what, let me give them a pound or a dollar or whatever you guys use, right? Okay, fine. You feel good, you walk away, I've done a good deed. Now, if you see that person every single day on your route, are you going to give them every single day? Especially when you may not have it either. So there's that struggle where you feel bad, like, but then you have other people who are liars and they just taking your kindness for weakness, and they're pretending to be in need, but they get up every day and dress up to go and literally con people off their money. So make a living out of it. Some of them might be even more well off than you. So
That's a question too. That's the last one because I know it's more. But like,
yeah,
man, to a certain point, how much do you love somebody? Because you understand that we need to bring everybody up to a certain vibration. It's like, how do you? Is it patience that you just gotta have to continue to love somebody, no matter, even if you know they're trying to lie to you? Like, is it a certain way you gotta treat them now, or like, do you still try to show everybody the same? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I got you. This is where the phrase "loving them from afar" comes in. You can, you can, you can still love them, but you just can't be around them or be around their environment because you're gonna get pulled in. This is exactly the dilemma we face with our ancestors. This is prison. This down here can be hell, and it's low vibration, and so they don't want to come down here because they can get stuck here or get caught up. So they've devised a mechanism by which they can pull you up, but you have to raise yourself to that level. It's called the mental plane, right? That's the fourth level where, you know, you go from the physical plane to what you call the spiritual, to the soul plane, then to the mental plane. And that's like halfway up to the 9 where they can reach down and pull you up. But you have to take those steps to get your mentality right, because your mind is the gateway that is connected to the mental reservoir where you get your thoughts from. And so, you know, you can pick up negative or disagreeable thoughts, or you can tap into the positive ones. And that's where we're saying the ancestors that mean well for you, that want to pull you up, they don't want to come down, but they need you to come up to meet them through your mind, and then they will give you more affirmation to raise you further so you can make it to becoming like them when you cross over, when you shed this skin suit, which is only required in this realm, in this physical 3D world, you see. So it's about the balance of knowing how to look after your physical body, because your spirit and your soul and your etheric being are within this skin suit, held together, you know, and you're kind of like, you're like a satellite or a node or a client connected to the network, to the mainstream. And you got to know how to pull yes, you know, like having a personal computer, but it's connected via the internet to everyone else that can either send you, you know, you can go on your computer to do some positive work, and, you know, one of those adverts pops up, and there's the 6E for fools distracting you. It's twerking. It's something that you're like, you just get distracted, and like where your mind was focused on doing some work, and in a second, if you're not aware of what's going on, you can spend a whole day on TikTok. and TikTok is the clock. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. It's taking away your valuable time to achieve, you know, valuable positive things. So you have to be in control of your mind, and your mind gets pulled in different directions. And so, yeah, this is where you know, and then you can think, okay, I'll give, but I know where to draw the line. I know, okay, I have to love you from afar, because being around you is the wrong vibration and frequency. You follow? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. No, that was a lot. No, I definitely appreciate it.
Tour, I appreciate love.
Man, I'm gonna definitely
have to check out that Telegram probably, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I just think ever since I've been, it started off with Billy, then
Right.
came across to you guys, and it's just even more like truth or just things that resonate.
Mm.
It gets me to asking questions more, and I feel like if you stop asking questions, then you're not
Tour.
growing no more, So like, it's just a good feeling, the type of knowledge that y'all got, and so far it's like this is the only thing that's making sense to me. I always question religion, always, and people are kind of sensitive to you questioning religion. So
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just you wanting to know more. I feel like we definitely more sensitive time to for some reason. Questions get people sensitive, or you're just asking for the truth. And it
Mm.
kind of lets you know like how much people are living in a lie for real. When you can't even ask them a question. And so
Yeah, you're made to feel guilty because
Don't question God.
yeah, because God, when the people representing these, God, Allah, deities, can't answer the question, they just, instead of saying I don't know, the ego gets in. Because remember, you can easily uncover if something is built on a weak foundation, it's not going to stand up. This is why the pyramids are still standing, and why synagogues and mosques and churches get blown away with any earthquakes or any kind of like natural disasters, because truth is truth. You know, we naturally want to be leaning to the side of our godliness. We want to know the truth. And the reality is that when they say you can't question God, that doesn't make sense if they say God knows everything. He's omnipotent, omnipresent, and he knows everything. So if he knows everything, then you should be able to ask him some questions.
Right.
And the reality is, how do you even think of a question to ask if he knows everything? Wouldn't he prevent you from asking that question if he didn't want you to know it? So, are you more intelligent than God? The reality is you are, because you are the God that you're looking for. And when I say you are more intelligent than God, I'm talking about the gods of the Bible, because when you start scrutinizing it, they don't know very much. Like, how did you not know your creation was going to go bad? When they tell you that the devil was once an angel and then he went rogue. On whose watch? Like, where, where was God when he was thinking, I'm going to go rogue? And then he allowed him to, you see? And yeah, and little things that don't make sense. Like when.
And then they rationalize that. Sometimes
Yeah.
be the funny part.
Yeah, it's the rationalization that's funny. Because you be like, okay, God is afraid, right, that his son is about to be killed by Herod, who is just a king or whatever in that region. And the best he can do is say, all right, take my son, run and go and hide him in Egypt until he dies, until Herod dies. Wouldn't it be easier for God to get rid of Herod? And then if he's a white boy with blonde hair and blue eyes, how is he going to hide amongst black people? These are the little things that when you start to pick apart, you're like, this God's not really that smart. Like, and unfortunately, the people that are trying to, they start making up stories like, well, he needs love because, I'm like, has he got emotions? Why is he getting jealous of his own creation? Why is he grieving for him creating man? Why is he trying to destroy everybody and everything, the animals and everything, when it was, according to the story, only Eve that ate the apple and Adam? What did everyone, or the trees and everything, what did they do? These are the types of questions that get under their skin, because it will literally get to the point that, these gods are these extraterrestrials that have weaknesses, emotions. They have fighting each other, and they've come down here parading and acting like, they know everything. So yeah, you've asked some great questions, and we hope that we've been able to help you in some way. But yeah, join the Telegram group, keep asking questions, keep learning, keep studying, keep researching, and you shall know the truth.
And the truth shall make you free.
There you go.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
Appreciate love you, man. Take care.
Have a great day to y'all.
Y'all
You
too.
too, man.
Wadu.
Wadu.
Okay, we come into the last 5 minutes. So, is there anything in the chat?
Get your calls in, man.
Last 5 minutes. So, if you haven't got your question, you may just have to get it answered in the Telegram. No form of energy knows everything. Every form of energy exists to learn from this. See that nature around them, and yeah, it sounds nice. These things sound really good, but when you're saying learn and all of that, you have to remember that a lot of the things we do physically in the skin suit don't apply in other existences. Okay, Hakeem Shahada. Yes, everyone check that documentary out. Tawat. Check it out. Let it move you to do something to help. Go to UnitedSabiansWorldwide.com. Search how can I help. If you truly want to help, you don't know what you'll be gaining, because just helping humanity, this is what we're doing.
Yep.
As a part of helping humanity, you don't have to come back again. So help us to help you to help us.
Trying to save as many souls as possible.
Okay, we're coming to the end. I'm just going to scroll again from the top just to see if there's anything that we missed. I don't know who that was. There's a conversation. Yep, nothing I've seen. Okay, third time asking. For some reason, you keep passing my question. The orb I saw was oval, pure white, that did not light up the room in darkness. It was separated from the darkness. What does it mean? Joanne Muhammad, we keep saying your personal experience is your experience. We can't explain or tell you about your personal experience. So this is something for you to document and try to see any correlations with what's going on in your life. But the more you study in Wu-Sabat, because there are many books that go into answering questions that may trigger you in terms of you'll get a DNA explosion and you can figure it out. So we can't tell you, right? Because you're saying, what does it mean? It was a sign for you. It was an experience that you had, and it means something to you. But the orb I saw was oval, pure white. The master does talk about these white orbs that enter the Caucasian females when they're pregnant at 6 months old. Yeah? And
doesn't it go into the succubus and the incubus as well? That they're part of it?
Well, succubus and incubus are beings that will trigger you or do things to you in your sleep, what you call sleep state. So, especially like sexual activities. But yeah, the white orb is explained in the scroll. But what I'm saying is that, how it relates to you and why you had that particular experience, that is your experience and it's personal. We can't like interpret and tell people their dreams, or it's like saying I saw a UFO. What does that mean? Well, they wanted you to see it for a particular reason. Maybe you don't believe it or you're skeptical, and now they're showing you. And not everyone who has anyone who has not seen a UFO cannot say that it exists, because it doesn't exist to them. But for the millions of people that have had that experience, to them it's real. So we're gonna end on that note. But I hope you are in our Telegram group, because you may be able to get further information from someone else who's had the same experience or something. Okay, so just to remind you all, it doesn't stop here. If you want to ask us questions, you can, you might get a question as soon as we finish. You're like, oh man, I could have asked. You can go on our Telegram group and ask the question. You can film yourself asking 3 questions that you can send in to us on osmvision.wetransfer.com, and we will get those answered. Check out the YouTube channel. And for those who joined the Telegram group for the first time, I know it might be a bit laborious for you to do, but try to read through the entire chat, because many of the questions that you may have already been answered several times by different student teachers. So if you can do that, and then if your question is not already answered, then ask it.
You got to watch all the OSM videos.
And watch all the videos. Yeah, we've put out so much information from the Master Teacher Partner Babyanun that just going through all the chat, let me do it, because, okay. Going through the chat and then going through all the videos will give you so much information. I mean, literally, like, we've been doing the videos for over a year now, just over a year, right? So that's over a year worth of information. The Master Teacher has 76 trillion years of knowledge, and he's been given for us to give to us like 25,000 years of that. And we have been around the Master Teacher for a very long time, studying the scrolls. And what years of information, we've given you 1 year out of that. You're not gonna, literally, like, there's years and years of information. So don't, be studious. Don't try and take your, like, this is serious. So take the time out to watch all the videos, study, and go through research. Yeah. And you learn so much more. Get the book. Fast Track. We called it Fast Track for a reason. Fast track your spiritual and conscious journey, and then you'll be up to date. Don't be one of those students that enrolls in university, college, or whatever, and then goofs off and just plays around and is in just like the common room and, don't take it seriously. This is transformational information. So on that note, we want to thank everyone that supports us. We appreciate, love you. And by support, we mean even just liking, sharing, subscribing, letting other people know about us, watching the documentary, just even your donations, no matter how big or small, anything you've done to help us and to help the mission, we truly, truly are grateful for. We want to give you a shook for that. Yeah. And, we make ourselves available to be questioned and scrutinized. Ask us anything. All right. So until next week, same time, same place, myself, Saken,
Asaru,
bid you Wadu.
Wadu.
Wadu family. Wadu Moisa.
Wadu Moisa.